Hello everyone. Let's since this is a recorded official CNCF meeting, let's start off with the preamble. Hello everyone. This is a meeting of the TAG Computer Strategy Mentorship Working Group, and as such is covered by the CNCF Code of Conduct, which we like to paraphrase as be excellent to each other. I don't think we're going to have a problem with that with this particular crew today. So hello everyone. Just in terms of the updates and reminders, right now we are on the last day of candidate selection for the LFX term 2, and I sent out the last reminder to the mentors. We've got maybe about 10 folks who haven't made a selection just yet, or 10 projects yet. But those, that's, I mean, there's always somebody who's a little bit late, so I'm not too concerned about that. And then I'll start doing the in-platform acceptances tomorrow at some point to give folks a heads up. I think that's my only sort of update that I wanted to hit before anything else was going on. So I guess our first agenda item is what time works for folks. Ali, you're now a co-chair, and we're trying to recruit somebody else from the same time zone to try and participate. So I feel like if we can find something that works for the West Coast of North America and I'm not sure what the name of your time zone is in Turkey there, but if we can get something that works for the two of us, I think that'll work for the vast majority of folks who would want to join this particular meeting.
So maybe we can already try to define some other time, but maybe we can wait until this other person is coming. Like if they are,
I don't expect they will come to this time zone. They won't. They've already told me that they won't come to this meeting at where it's at.
okay.
I mean, we can reach out to them and ask them what time would work for them, but given and they are actually an existing mentor. They have participated as a mentor in this in LFX. So I mean, they're committed to working with us. So yes, I'd be happy to do. Maybe we do it like a doodle poll. Is that something that people still do? And we can put it out on what is it now? The Tag Contributor Strategy Slack channel, and see if more than just even the two of us have. But if we put like 4 or 5 sort of spots in.
Yep.
Do we I can't remember, and Josh, maybe you remember, do we have a position on what's it even called now? The phrase in my head is UHF, but that's a broadcast thing, not
also a movie starring Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah. One of my childhood heroes. Universal Standard Time, UST. Do we use that, or do we prefer to peg things to a specific time zone?
That is up to each individual group.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so every time daylight savings time changes in the US and in Europe, we have a big shuffle where suddenly meetings conflict that didn't used to conflict.
Yeah.
Because you can, I would say in this community, you can peg it to UTC, you could peg it to a US time zone, or you could peg it to European Central Time. Right. And any one of those choices has trade-offs.
Yeah, and all of them have the same.
Turn the lights on here. Wow. Got dim all of a sudden.
So can you create this doodle, Nate?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, I can.
So technically, we have, we have some meetings, some Thursday meetings for tag contributor strategy. We have 3 meetings, I think, and they're happening every month. So we have 1 week free. We can actually maybe put it in that spot, but
Oh, that's
not sure if that works for this other person. We
Yeah.
still need to check it out. Yeah.
That'll be, actually, let's make a note there. One should be the empty thing.
I mean, for me, it would be nice so that I know that every Thursday I have a meeting. Because I try to attend all the other meetings.
All right. I've made a note and I will see what I can do about that. So then, question about mandatory blog posts, webinars, and recordings for mentees. I think there's a couple of things going on in there. But that's your topic there, Ali, so I'll let you.
Yeah. Who brought it up? By the way, Kushal, we have a new face, right?
Oh, do we have? Oh, hello. I didn't even notice. Hello, Kushal. How are you doing?
Hello, Jan. I'm good. What about you?
I wonder why I didn't notice that. Weird. Interesting. Well, thank you for paying attention, Ali. Welcome, Kushal. Is there welcome. I don't know if you were here for the preamble or not, but this is the Tag Contributor Strategy Mentorship Working Group here. And if you're interested in what we do for mentorship and whatnot, I think you've come to the right place, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have, or if you've got extra time and want to chip in, I'm happy to help direct effort and whatnot.
Thank you, sir, for noticing me. Sir, actually, I am new here in this community. I am here for preparing for next LFX program.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to stop you. I'm having a hard time understanding you. There's some noise on your microphone.
Yes, sir. Thanks. Can you give me a minute? I will fix it.
Yeah, that's the poor audio connection
Yeah,
sort of thing. It's very digitized.
maybe we can use the chat.
Hello, sir. My voice is clear now? Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we're having a lot of trouble understanding.
Sir, actually, I am new in this community. And I just joined the meeting for seeing what is in the community. I am really interested in this community, and I am going to prepare for it next LFX program.
So, sorry, I'm just trying to stop some noise in my space here. There we go. So what I think I heard was that you're new to the community. Thank you for joining us, and that you are looking to help in the next semester. Are you looking to be? Are you a part of a? Are you a maintainer in a CNCF project, or are you looking to participate as a mentee, or?
So as a mentee.
Oh, as a mentee. Ah,
yes, sir.
Well, best of like I was saying earlier, all of the selections are in the process of being made. Today is the deadline for mentors to make selections for this next term coming up. And we will be making announcements in the next couple of days. Usually it takes a day or so to get everything sort of lined up so that we can get the announcements out the door. But yeah, absolutely. I wish you the best in the selection process.
Thank you, sir.
So
I will
are
do
you
my best.
are you did you already apply to this term, or are you interested in applying to next term, which is gonna start in September, I think?
Yes, yes, sir. I am not applying this in this semester. I am applying in the September semester.
I think I heard that you said you're applying for this current semester.
No, 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 sir. I am not applying for this semester.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, sir, I
Oh.
am delayed for that.
I
Okay.
see. Grab the link.
So-
then. Sorry. Yeah, the audio quality is difficult.
Yeah, I mean, so as a generic recommendation, I would recommend you to check out what projects we have in this term so that you can get an idea what the projects look like. Maybe you can already find something that is interesting to you, and in the next term you can, I mean, there is no guarantee that there will be same projects, same communities participating, but you can have an idea. And maybe if you have a favorite project, you can start interacting with them and start contributing already. Like, you don't have to do lots of big features and things like that, but an interaction is a good way of learning what the project is, and it also increases your chance for getting selected in the next term because you will have this context, better context when you're preparing your proposal. And yeah, it's always good to start early, and yeah, you're in a good spot, I think.
Okay, thank you, sir.
And I've just dropped a couple of links there in the chat here for to help just some information for you.
Okay, sir, I will
So
see that.
shall we continue with the agenda?
Okay.
Which I
Doctor,
think,
I have to leave this meeting or I will stay in this meeting.
no, you're welcome to stay. No, this is an open meeting. You're welcome to participate, and yeah, absolutely. We only have so much time, so I feel like probably time to move on to the next thing.
Thank you, sir.
So Ali, I think the next item here is yours.
Yep.
Mandatory
Well,
blog posts, webinars, and recordings for mentees. Is this? Well, I'll let you talk.
yeah, so we talked about this once, and I remember that you were not very fond of making this blog post mandatory, but the person who suggested this, they said they will come to the meeting, I think, and they didn't. So I was hoping that they would have more input.
Yeah.
But the main
So-
idea is, yeah, so let's enforce the mentees to have these blogs or webinars or whatever after mentorship, which has
Yeah.
some positive things, but it's also hard, I know.
Well, the thing about enforcing is to say that they must do this thing implies that if they don't get their stipend.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And this could be at the end of a semester where the mentor has said, hey, this person has done some great work and they have just run out of time for the blog post. And I wouldn't feel right withholding. Like, I mean, that's what it is to quote require it, right? So I'm very hesitant to make that a project wide or like a part of like the absolute requirement of the program, just because I would hate to have to withhold funding from somebody who has otherwise done a good job.
So we already encourage people to write blog posts, right?
We do, yeah, absolutely. We encourage it, and that's part of why there's that extra week at the end, where I try and have like the actual work end, and then have an extra week before the actual end of the semester to deal with any sort of paperwork, any sort of stipend issues that sort of pop up, as well as giving time to write a blog post, and the CNCF blog and our socials team do collect the information or the blog posts that mentees write, and we actually write a blog post of our own, linking out to anybody who has actually provided us one. So I agree, and I want to see more people doing more writing, and I want to just I like maybe it's my profession. I like to see writers, but again, I'd have to hear a very, very strong argument to make it a mandatory thing, I think.
And do you have any idea about the number, like the percentage of people, like
Usually we get about 50%.
percentage?
I don't know about the percentage, but it's not huge, but it's also not, it's not none.
So you think it's adequate?
I think if we wanted more blog posts, what would make much more of a difference is to get some direct assistance to the because the thing is that very few mentees get their mentorship with any kind of writing skills.
Yeah.
You know, occasionally we have a documentation mentee who might be good at it, but not anybody else.
Yeah.
And very few mentors actually have blog post writing skills. So one of the biggest problems that we run into is the mentee doesn't know how to write a decent blog post, and the mentor can't help them.
Yeah.
So if we really wanted to see more blog posts, the answer would be to get some direct assistance in actually writing those blog posts.
Yeah. And to that point, actually, when we do the blog post at the end with the CNCF folks, because we're grabbing information from the mentees, I'll often do a copy edit pass to help clean up some of that language. So I agree, Josh. That's so then it becomes a matter of staffing that. Like, how do we provide that if we want to do that? How do we provide that assistance?
Yeah, and I can assist with, like, I don't know, like maybe one or two. I mean, part of the problem is the time crunch, right? Is that we're giving them a week to do this. And, you know, I'm not necessarily available during that week.
Yeah.
It doesn't parallelize very well if we don't have sort of a pool of people that's available to help with the writing portion of it.
Yeah, especially since we're averaging 40 or 50 mentees a semester, so it scale becomes a factor as well.
Yeah, and I mean, just to give you, I have helped with some of these, particularly for the Kubernetes mentees, and I would say on average that helping out with one of them is like 3 or 4 hours of my time, because the draft starts its life very far from readability. And so, you know, trying to scale that up with the number of mentees that we have, then it becomes a real challenge. So the thing is, it's just like if we could do it, it would be nice, right? This is a useful job experience. There are all kinds of times in your career when it is useful to be able to do a good write-up of the work that you did. So it would be very valuable to the mentees. It would be somewhat valuable to the mentors, because most people and most projects really ought to be writing more documentation than they are. But we have to staff it somehow.
Yeah. So I think we're kind of on the same page. I think we all think it's a good idea, but we all are time strapped. So then it would be a recruiting thing where we try and bring other writers in to help with this. So then it becomes, okay, is that where we want to focus our recruiting time? It's always
yeah. So when we can do some things to actually help scale this out, right? Because when you can't actually staff something, look at documentation. Because like say take your 40 or 50 mentees, right? Out of those, we have somewhere between 0 and 2 who can actually write a pretty good blog post on their own,
Yeah,
right? With some editing, right? And then we probably have like 5 to 10 of them who could write an okay blog post with a good template plus a copy editing pass. So maybe what we want to do is focus on actually creating a good template for a My LFX project post. Because like having worked directly with some of the mentees, they have no idea what should go into a blog post about this, right? And so they do things like write an entire page and a half about how the LFX selection process works. And it's like,
good idea.
this is, a good write-up, but nobody wants to read it. The people want to read what you did, right? What technical problems did you work on? What technical obstacles did you encounter? How did you overcome them and that sort of thing? And I think if we came up with a sort of outline of what they would put in a blog post, we might be able to pull out a few more students who, can kind of fill that out, and then with, an hour of copy editing, have something ready for publication.
Yeah. I like that idea. Sorry, I'm
Taking
just
some notes.
watching type
Please
there.
have a look
Okay.
at them.
Also, hello, Sunil. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good, Nate. Thank you. See you, everyone.
Hello.
Oh,
So we're just discussing some of what we'd like to see at the end of a semester here regarding communicating what mentees have done over the past 12 weeks.
Nice, awesome. That's great to hear. So I'm part of the CNCF Tag Security and Automated Governance tag. I believe, yeah, I haven't been in this working group. I might probably was zooming in, zoom out. So I thought to check in what's happening and what can I do to contribute, if not this semester, probably the next one.
Oh, fantastic. I'm glad to hear that. It's good to see you here. I'm actually working with, we're doing on Google Summer of Code, the CNCF and GOST, the Google Open Source Security team, are doing a collaboration where we're mentoring one person to help do
Nice.
what are they called? The scorecards, the open security. Why is my brain blanking? At any rate, so we're working with GOST in the context of Google Summer of Code. But if you've got ideas for security and how we could leverage the LFX mentoring program for other CNCF projects, I think that would be great. Just a note here. I'm going to I'm going to copy the link. So our next semester, project proposals are opening early in June. So that's worth keeping in mind. Here's our shared notes, by the way. So it's worth sort of keeping that, like we have a 2-week or 3-week proposal period where projects say, oh, okay, I have this work that I think a junior developer or a third, fourth year student could do over the course of 12 weeks with some coaching. And if we have the security tag saying, hey, we think this project, or if you can reach out to different CNCF projects and say, hey, we think you could benefit from this program, that would be very, very helpful.
I mean, the
Yeah,
other thing
that'll be,
is,
that was good. Thank you.
another thing I want to bring in is, right now this working group is mainly focused on the organized beginner mentoring programs, so LFX and Google Summer of Code, and that's mainly because of who we've had available to work on the working group. But in theory, we've always wanted to extend the working group into other kinds of mentoring programs. If you're interested in one of those areas, what they've lacked is somebody to basically take them up. And that would even include things that are overlap, right? Is there a mentoring program for improving your project security profile? And if so, how do we publicize it? How do we make it so that more people can run it, et cetera?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
No, thank you. I appreciate the cross-pollination here. This is great.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, we also see that we need a lot of input and members across the board, especially not only tax security. We have so many projects, so many papers which are coming up. So we are working on. So that'll be a great opportunity for anyone who would like to, who will get mentored and like to be part of our different tags, right? Eventually, they would pick a topic they would like to be part of. So that'll be awesome.
Yeah. I think I just recognized your name. Did I help you copy edit a paper last year? Your name seems familiar to me. So I'm wondering if we worked together, but maybe haven't seen each other.
Yeah, not sure if we did PR last year on the Speak Spire. So we did submit our paper on Speak Spire. Maybe I'm thinking that we might have collaborated on that Speak Spire paper.
That sounds familiar. It was a while ago, and like I said, I had it was just working through Google Docs. But like I said, I'm glad you're here.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad to reconnect again.
Yeah. Okay. So now the second part of what I think Ali was talking about with the blog posts was webinars. So one of the things that we're doing now is providing he and I, Ali and I are sort of swapping off for different time zones to make sure that the mentors have an information session and then the mentees have an information session. So the mentee information session, we should probably actually schedule for next week sometime because we're not, the selections haven't come in yet, so we don't know who to invite just yet. But is that what that second part of that?
No, it's more, yeah, I mean, thank you for that information. We should share it. That's a good idea.
we should do that, yeah.
But yeah, more like the request there is more like similar to blog posts. Ask mentees to provide recordings,
Right. Oh, I see.
like demos or whatever, things like
Yeah.
that. But I mean, we
Well,
have the same answer there.
That's an interesting point too. We should invite our alumni to participate in the information sessions for the mentees. To try and build out that ongoing community connection. So that sort of hits my next agenda item. Your next agenda item here is how to recruit more people to this working group, to which I say hello again, Sunil.
So I added that when I saw Josh.
Thank you.
I was gonna ask his recommendation. Like, yeah, what can we do?
I think, sorry, I was gonna speak on, if it's a question for Josh, I'll let Josh start. and then-
No, I mean, you
Oh.
can obviously give your answer, but yeah.
I mean, I would say actually targeting a lot of the alumni is a good idea, right? And like other things that we've done in the tag and elsewhere, um, one of the things that really helps is to have specific tasks to recruit people to. Right? Is
I'm
to
sorry,
say,
can you
hey,
repeat
we
that,
need
Rob?
somebody to do X, right? We need somebody to run our outreachy presence, and the more information that you can construct about what's involved in the task and how to carry it out, the easier it's going to be to recruit people to it.
Yeah,
Um, the so the and it's going to be a struggle for a while because people don't have a lot of available time, and people's priorities kind of rightly is going to be the project they're working on, directly mentoring for the project they're working on, and then actually working on mentorship in general. If you follow me?
Yeah.
And that's actually why a lot of the mentoring alumni who've been successful might be good targets, and particularly the mentee alumni, who've been successful in being involved with a project might be good targets simply because they don't have a lot of commitments yet.
yeah,
Certainly Outreachy has had a lot of success sort of daisy chaining mentees.
Yeah.
Where somebody was a mentee and then they become a mentor and they become an administrator. So
I think that's actually a really good idea. I think we need to do a lot more to build out the mentee community. The mentors are, again, they're already pretty much in the community, so I don't think, and we can reach out to them as well. But I think we've got years now of people who have run through our program, and I think that we could probably start sort of tapping those folks and saying, hey, we're looking to do this, or we could use help here or here. My question would be what, and I think that we've got a fairly unstructured working group in that we see a thing that needs doing and we do it, right?
Mhm.
Between the three of us, or maybe bring in a couple of project managers from Linux Foundation and whatnot. So I think that we would need to tighten up a little bit of like what we need folks to do. Again, one of the things, like for instance, if we want to help people understand what the process is or what the program is, we can get folks to help sort of spread the word around, like, oh, this proposal period is coming up, or helping make sure that folks don't go more than a day or so without an answer in the mentoring channel or on the discussion boards, things like that. But is there, what else do we need folks to do? And when I ask that, I mean, how do we want to put structure around that? Because I think we can recruit people, but if they're all standing around saying, okay, what do you need me to do? That's not a great experience either.
Can we define roles?
Yeah.
You're this person, you're responsible, or maybe two people are responsible for, I don't know, Google Summer of Code. Two other people are responsible for that, for another program or something like that.
Maybe
And questions of anytime that we've said, hey, it would be really nice if we could do X, but
Yeah.
we don't have the people for it,
Like.
right?
the
Like
language
say,
of
hey,
nature.
blog writing assistance and support, right?
Yeah.
What would that look like, right? Um, so anytime we have one of those, write it up the way that you would write up a good first issue, right?
Yeah.
For project contributions, and you can even write it as an issue and say, hey, we need a person. Like, I mean, we're used to doing this for code tasks, and there's no reason not to do them for non-code tasks.
Well, especially since we're
Um,
space. Literally, we're doing this through GitHub. So yeah, you're absolutely right.
yeah.
Uh,
So, I mean, to give you an example of doing this in another area with non-code, right? Is this was for last week in Kubernetes development, when we were looking for more writers for it, right? And we just wrote up a want ad, for what somebody would need to do and what their requirements would be, etc. Um, the and and we can do that for each one of these things. And then if somebody needs more information, they're still in a better starting place
yeah.
because they can come forward and they can say, hey, I'm interested in this particular role, but I don't understand X. And we can give them sort of more meaningful help.
Yeah. I also wonder if we could invite maybe Katie to join us for one of these working group meetings and discuss how she's put together the ambassador program, for instance, or if this might be a good synergy there rather than building out a new community, maybe sort of like merging our communities a little bit.
Yeah.
I do like that. I do like that help wanted ad though. That's great. I'm going to bookmark that and keep it in my pocket for later.
Yeah, and by the way, that's actually another group that we could potentially look out for because a lot of the ambassadors are basically non-code contributors to projects.
Yep.
And so that can be a good pool of people to look out to for things like mentorship, et cetera. And particularly if we wanted things like, hey, we really want a mentorship coordinator who's fluent in Spanish.
Yeah.
Which is not something we currently have and could probably use. Or we want one in Indian time zone, which is also something we could use, right? And so, and some of those people like, could be, a draw pool of people who might be interested in that, particularly, because they're not doing releases for a project or something else that's using up all the time.
Yeah.
So what kind of help do we actually need? I'm just thinking about that. So these kind of, for example, when I check your the issue you created, Josh, writer to cover some sub projects, some dependencies like CSI, CNI, whatever. So you do this and then you're done, right? So these are like one-off things. But we have like lots of operations here. We need to
Well, actually, I was going to say I linked the LWKD thing because it's not a one-off thing.
oh,
That
is
that
it?
is literally something that somebody's working on every week.
Oh, okay.
And we got lucky with that one because we actually recruited Mario, who wrote a script to take care of part of the problem. So not only is he working on it every week, but he also figured out a way to automate some of the work away, which is awesome. So yeah, I mean, the thing is there are just a ton of different things that we could have people doing in this working group that would be helpful, right? So
Yep.
additional external mentorship programs where the CNCF is not currently participating in because we don't have anybody to oversee them, right? That would include Outreachy. I think Write the Docs actually has a thing. There are potentially other things out there.
Yeah.
if anybody knows about it. But anytime we run across one of those that we think maybe CNCF should participate in, you know, should the CNCF have some kind of organized participation in Hacktober, for example? If that's
Yeah.
is Hacktober still a thing?
I'm not sure if it is. I haven't heard about it for a while. And normally I hear about it because of, not to cast any aspersions, but usually when I hear about Hacktober, it's because a project is a flood of,
Well, they ran it last year.
oh, good.
They don't distribute t-shirts anymore, so there's less interest.
Oh, good.
But that means possibly more legitimate participants.
Precisely.
You know, the you know, for that matter, could use a lot of assistance for projects and how to do certain things. Like, for example, a guide to running a successful ContribFest at KubeCon would be totally within the mandate for this working group. I mean, could also be done by contributor growth working group, but there it's even less likely to get done. And that actually would be nice because that would be a sort of one and done task, if you follow me.
Yeah.
Like somebody could write that and then they'd be done. And it's useful to have some of those tasks available because some people are like, hey, you know, I'm going to be between jobs for 3 weeks. Is there anything I can do?
Yeah.
I would like to take some of the non-novice mentoring programs that Kubernetes came up with and template them and write them up better so that they could actually be taken to other projects as a thing they could do, right? Because right now, most projects need to train up reviewers and maintainers more than they need more brand new contributors.
That's a point too. And speaking of Kubernetes, by the way, I have reached out to the Kubernetes crew, and we have, I think, 2 now. We had 3, but one dropped out. 2 projects participating in LFX from Kubernetes, which hasn't historically happened before. So I think sort of reaching out to some of our larger projects. I know that OTEL does a lot with outreachy, but it would be good to do some outreach into some of these larger projects to see if there's ways that we could help. And I think you're right. I think finding some of these other, I think we're at a point where LFX and GSOC are sort of humming along. I think that we could probably add a 3rd or a 4th if we count.
Right.
I think outreachy, bit of a tricky one, just because it's constantly being done by the outreachy people or by the OTEL folks, and I'm not sure that we've got the funding to expand that right now. But if there are other funded programs out there, I think that would be.
Well, we can also solicit funding for outreachy. Hold on just a moment.
Yes, we could. I mean, it's just. It's a chicken egg problem.
Right. But no. But I mean, I realize that there's not as much DEI money around as there was 3 years ago, but it is still a thing that companies do for PR reasons.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And if there's a goal for that money, you can reach out to a lot of the major CNCF supporters.
Well, that's an interesting point. That's not something that we've done traditionally in this working group. So that's an interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, there's another role, right?
Yeah.
The although we'd want it to be for more than outreachy.
I would expect
if we were going to do that. If we're going to make that an actual role, right? But that is part of the problem with outreach, and often usually if there's additional outreachy funders, they're in some way connected with the project. If you follow me, as in Kubernetes ones would be some of the Kubernetes sponsors, etc. Now, one of the things that Nate and I talked about ages ago that would require a lot of personnel to carry out adequately, but would really make all of these novice level mentoring programs run better, is having some kind of a continuously updated registry of novice appropriate projects. Because the thing is, from the project perspective, for a lot of them, they don't care whether the intern comes from Outreach or LFX or Google Summer Code,
They have a
right?
problem there.
Right? What they care is they have a mentor who can mentor one student, right? And is willing to mentor them for one task. And they don't care which program that task lands on.
Yeah.
And so if we had a way to continually collect those in a way that was low overhead for the projects, and then of course we would have to do continuous reminders because otherwise everything falls off a cliff. That would be awesome because it would make putting together things like the next season of LFX much easier, right? Because you would just pull all of the things that have been updated by projects anytime recently and just throw those in. And then Google Summer Code rolls around and you see which ones are not fulfilled and you throw those in. And that's one of those things that would take a lot of effort to get started because for one thing, we need to figure out a mechanism for that. I was actually thinking something kind of like Clotributor, because if we can just gather something that projects have put in their own repos and just tagged in a certain way, it eliminates a lot of approval required problems.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a great idea, actually. I also remember talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I started doing it for Kubernetes back when, and then we lost some people and I got very busy with other things and never made it beyond about 4 SIGs.
If we can find a structure for this, I can actually work on this because I like messing around with the GitHub API if you want to go that approach with issues.
Well, actually, here's the question. Could we just fork the Clotributor code?
Yes.
To have it look for a different tag?
Clotributor is fully open source. Yeah. I mean, we could also talk with Chris and I want to say Sergio and well, what is the name of the other person that works on that project? We can just talk to them. We can say, hey, can we add this as a part of Clotributor? And I think probably they would be thrilled to expand it its usefulness or its functionality.
Yeah, we need to define some metadata and things like that, required skills and all these other stuff. But yeah, we can think about that definitely.
Just looking at the time here, we got about 10 minutes left, or about 6 minutes left, honestly. And I just wanted to quickly jump ahead to GSOC Mentor Summit, which this year is going to be on, it's going to start on the Friday, October 4th and end on Sunday, October 6th. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make that weekend. And so I think we've got till June 20th to respond to the invite. And so Ollie, I would, as the co-chair, I would invite you potentially to attend this if you're interested. And I know that Jason DeLuca is interested in attending. And they actually got accepted last year, but were unable to attend. So I just wanted to, before we run out of time here, put that out there and see if there was any other interest in attending Summer of Code Mentor Summit, because I do need to respond to that email fairly soon.
So I am interested, but
Google does provide travel funding.
Yeah, but how much? I think they provide like one. Is it okay to tell the number here, I guess?
Well, I mean, they put it out on their
Right, it's public, right?
public email.
So $1,200, I think, if
Something
I
like
remember correctly. That would be probably my flight. They
Yeah, it's
provide hotel, right? So I need to. I mean, the summary is I don't want to go into the numbers right now, but I might need more funding, and I'm
Okay.
not sure if Red Hat would pay for that. So
I'm happy to ask about additional funding on your behalf. I can't make any promises, obviously, but I can see what I can do. But it sounds like you're interested, and it would be good to have you attend if you're able.
Mhm.
So I'll respond to the email and fill out the form saying, yeah, we're interested in sending these folks, but there is a funding question, so we'll figure out how that might work. And that unfortunately means that potentially, if we aren't able to find additional funding, that goes sideways. But we'll come to that when we get there.
Okay.
But I'm happy to put your name forward to do that.
Okay, let's do it that way.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else? Any questions, comments, concerns before we close this edition out?
Just a quick note, I will be on PTO for the next 3 weeks. So Nate, you're on your own with the mentee and mentor introduction sessions. So
Thank you. I appreciate the heads up
this
on
is why
that.
this is why we need to recruit more people. So it's not just for expanding, but it's also this bottleneck. It's just you and me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you covered for me when I took some vacation, so I'm happy to cover for you now that you're taking some PTO. So this is why it's important to have at least two, and I think we've got some good coverage here. Are you, if I email and whatnot about the GSOC stuff, are you available via email at least, or?
Yeah. I will have my laptop with me.
Okay, cool. Enjoy your time away, whatever it is that you happen to be doing. One last call for questions, comments, concerns? No, thank you everyone for joining, especially the couple of you here joining for the first time. I really appreciate it, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Take care,
Okay.
everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.